that's the whole purpose of this. And
Hmm.
you know, from you coming from a different country, that says a lot on its own. How many people do you know come from, you know, an upbringing where their parents were immigrants, and you know they saw their parents work so hard and gave them an opportunity. And I think, you know, me as a first generation Latino from
Hmm.
two immigrants, like, I'm gonna be completely honest, we don't seize a lot of opportunities. So, and one of
Yeah.
the things I always admire about you is like you didn't take anything for granted. Like, and we're gonna talk a little bit about, you know, how we met, and then, but
Yeah.
one of the
Yeah.
things, and then sorry, Freddie, for cutting you short, but one of the things
Mm.
that always stuck out to me is like you would come straight from your master's program, and I would see you in the parking lot, and you were just sitting in your car, and I remember asking you like, "What are you doing? Like, why do you come here so early?" He's like, "I'm literally coming from school, and this is my downtime before we go to work."
Yeah.
And that just
Yeah.
speaks on like how motivated and dedicated you are. So, okay, where did you go to school when you came to from El Salvador here from 15, and then what made you
Yeah,
pursue
but I
a
also,
bachelor's degree?
yeah, yeah, but I also wanted to preface that, like I am one of the very fortunate individuals that was born here. I was just raised over there. You know, like, and that's truly a blessing and like a big advantage, and just truly blessed to have been that because, like I have a lot of friends that I highly admire that have been taking part of like the American dream, quote unquote, with the Dream Act and with DACA and stuff like that, or even TPS. So, like I said, in that regards, I am extremely lucky and blessed, and I think all the admiration should go to our parents and to them too, because they're also like making it besides like all the hurdles that they have to overcome.
Mm-hmm.
But
Love that.
no, like I said, like my parents always, well, mostly my stepmom, she always like motivated me to get a higher education. I originally started as a engineering major, but then um, realized that I hated math. Woke up with nightmares and stuff. And then I was like, I don't know what to do anymore. So then, like I found and fell in love with psychology in an attempt to like know myself a little bit more. And, because we, as Latinos, we also have those stigmas of like psychologist and therapy and all of that. And we truly do not know ourselves and the chains that we're dragging from like the trauma of the chancla, quote unquote. uh,
Facts.
no, but yeah, facts. No, but all jokes aside, like I just wanted to be able to help people and understand people in a whole different level and just get to know myself, I guess. So I got my bachelor's from Cal State LA, and then I realized that you cannot do much in psychology with a bachelor's. At least you can, but the financial situation is not really that great.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, all right, cool. Let me go get a master's, like to put me on a better
Light bulb.
standing. Yeah. So I went and did that, and I started working at UPS, and they actually do a tuition reimbursement. It's not much, but it did help. Um, so that's pretty much what I was doing there, and yeah, scheduling wise and work wise, it was very exhausting because it was, we used to work almost graveyards.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were there from like 9 or even sometimes before until like 3 a.m. And my schedule was so crazy that I think I would get home like around 4, and then I would shower. Sometimes I wouldn't even sleep. And then, because I had my internship at 7 a.m. all the way until 12.
Yep.
And then I had classes from, um, I think I had classes from about 12, or no, like 1:30 or 3, depending, all the way to like 6:30 or 7. And then I would drive straight to work
Yeah.
because of traffic. Um,
Yeah. I think you used
but
to clock in at
yeah,
8:30.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, man. So let's pause there because just listening to that gives me a headache because that's so much time. And
Yeah.
let's actually hone in on that. So my first question to you is going to be like, on the days, like how did you push yourself or motivate yourself? Because when you become an adult, there's nobody going to be telling you like, hey, dale, 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 échale ganas. Like sometimes it's hard,
Hmm.
especially
No, yeah.
when you're that busy from work to internship to school and then repeat 5 days
Hmm.
a week. Plus, you got to take into consideration studying, right? So that's another time frame that you got to block out. So, what were some
Yeah.
things that you would have to like coach yourself through? Because believe it or not, it is like a self talk you have to go through.
Yeah. And I think, like, I never gave myself an excuse to say, like, I can't do this anymore. And even if I did, I always had like an amazing, like, circle or people that motivated me, like, my wife, my mom. Like, I always like saw her working like 2 jobs and still working to get her bachelor's degree. Like our parents, or like my dad, like working construction, or just many people that allow me to see the possibilities of like just going forward and doing it and getting it done. So one of the things that my dad always told me is like, hey, you know what? Like, if you start something, you better finish it, whether it's on a deathbed or something, but you gotta finish it. I was like, all right, cool. I had to, um, so just trying not to, just understand, and always, I mean, I forgot who told me this, but I always took it to heart, and I still take it to heart. I rather work hard now so I can relax later. And I always, like, that was my mantra. I was like, okay, like, I'm doing this to put my kids, or like my family, in a better situation. I'm doing this, sacrificing now, and like losing out on like family gatherings or anything, or date night or whatever, just so I can like push forward, and like in the future I'll be able to have that flexibility. My cousin, it's because he's a Martinez. That's funny.
Hey, you got
No,
support
and
here, bro.
yeah, I'm telling you, I'm pretty blessed. Uh, yeah. So yeah, just basically just suffer now so you can enjoy the fruits of your labor in the future.
Yeah.
Definitely.
To highlight, right, and recap what you just mentioned is you said from the get go, you said, I was not going to allow myself to make any excuses. It's huge.
Mm-hmm.
It's huge. And especially like when you're starting something for yourself, and we haven't even gotten on to the entrepreneur side of, what
Mm.
you've created, but starting for something for yourself, you can't make an excuse because there's no,
No.
there's nobody to hold you accountable to that except for yourself. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad, well, that was like a learning lesson, I guess, in the sense that you were able to realize that before you even started working full time and then now starting a business on your own. And then another thing that really stood out to me was that, you saw your mom do it. She worked 2 jobs. So then it really
Mm-hmm.
gave you no excuse because you already seen it.
Yeah,
And
I do.
so that's awesome. And then lastly,
Mm-hmm.
my next question was going to be like, why even do it? But you already kind of pointed out, it's going to be for your future self, for your future kids. You said sacrifice today,
Yeah.
relax later. Is there anything else that
Hmm.
stands out to you on like why? Like why did you go through so much trouble to achieve that?
Uh, you know, like I think just knowing that we all as individuals, we always have so much potential that we can always, like it's always untapped. And, it's just something that we just have to continue pushing ourselves and going forward. Because we never know who's gonna, like, we're already at an age that somebody's gonna look at us and we're gonna be the role models.
Hmm.
As crazy as it sounds, like I still feel like I'm on my 20s, but I'm not. uh, but like we have become at that level that we're somebody's role model. And the same way that my family, it's my guiding or stepping stone, uh, or like North Star for me to be able to achieve something. We're gonna be that to somebody, and hopefully it's gonna be for our kids or
Hmm.
like our siblings or cousins or whoever it is. We never know who we're gonna become their mentors, and we just have to be able to be mentally prepared for that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I love that, man. Because not only are you thinking about, your future self, your future, upbringing, but you're thinking about others, right? Because like you said, there's going to be somebody that are going to look up to us, who knows, maybe somebody's going to watch this YouTube video and then they're going to start to follow us and be inspired by it.
Yeah.
So you never know. And I like that thinking because it's not selfish at all. Like you're thinking you're giving back, and that's awesome. I really love that. Like those are the things that really make me passionate because my why is also like my family, but like you mentioned, you just never know who you can make a difference
Hmm.
to, and that's a big reason I
Yeah.
why I do these lives is because I do want to encourage somebody to like take that leap of faith. So now the internship, school, UPS, it's all behind you now, right? You graduate
Yeah.
with your master's, you get a job full time. So go ahead and explain what
Hmm.
you do full time, and then we'll get into why you started your own business.
Well, all right. So I just started like a whole new journey, and I think last time we spoke, like I told you about. So I got my master's. Like I started accruing hours to get my license, um, and then the whole Corona thing happened. So everything got put on pause. Hours were slowed down. I was in on another job, um, just got extremely comfortable. Job was good, money was decent. Coworkers were awesome, um, and all of that. But then in the back of my head, like my parents are entrepreneurs, so they always said like, like no matter like education will open up doors, but like the real money, if you want to make a living or if you want to make an impact, you have to work for yourself. Nobody's going to work harder than yourself. And right now you're working for somebody else and making them more money than what you're making yourself. So that was always something that they always like told me. And funny enough, my dad was always like, you know what, like go get your education, go get your degrees, go get your licenses, but just know that at the end of the day, you're probably gonna be working for yourself because we're just that type of people. And I was like, sure. Um, so, so COVID happened, and like I've been doing photography for quite some time, but um, knowing or thinking that I wasn't good enough to actually be charging um, or stuff like that. It's just that confidence that it was lacking. And then that happened, and I found myself with a lot of free time. So I started F&M creations with my wife, and then I just tried to jump, and I was like, hey, you know what? Like, I think I have enough experience in photography to fully go all out and just make business cards and pimp myself out
There
quite
you go.
like quote unquote, and just like see where it takes me. If
Yeah.
it's actually gonna be something that I'm gonna be able to be profitable.
Hmm.
You know, at first people were a little hesitant because it was COVID, but then business just started coming in. You know, started shooting for like close friends, started doing those shoots, doing raffle, um, and just started growing it until I'm at this point right now that, you know, like I'm pretty comfortable getting booked like on weekends because I'm still have 9 to 5.
Hmm.
Um, it's 7 to 4 now, but yeah, um, you know, but you know, like it's slowly building up until the point that I'm able to just say like, all right, cool, like I'll do this full time.
Looks like the stars aligned because your dad called it.
Yeah, yeah, he did.
After all that
He did.
studying, all that time spent,
No,
you know,
but
it led
you
into
know,
back.
the only the only thing that is bad about that is the student loans.
Yeah.
But I am very fortunate that I don't have that much as other people.
Hmm.
However, you know, like having those pieces of paper does open up doors.
Yeah. No. No.
And not just that, but also working in the field where, you know, like you're the therapist for somebody, people depend on you, people confide in you.
Hmm.
And just knowing how to talk to people in a different manner or how to empathize with people and how to express yourself a little bit more, which, you know, like I'm still working on.
Yeah.
But you know, it comes into play into everything, you know, like including photography or anything that I think I will do
Of course.
from now on. You know, that comes into play, and it's just something that it's I'm gonna keep implementing it to either make the people that hire me feel comfortable, for me to make them feel like, okay, like I am here for you on your wedding day,
Yep.
and I will like do my very best to
Yep.
like capture this moment.
100%. Of
So you know, like I think it was something that I had to go through
course.
to develop myself, but yeah, like I think it was great.
Yeah. No. 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 And if you read, you know, a lot of successful entrepreneurs, they've gone through their stage that develop skill sets, like you were just mentioning. Those are all skill sets, whether they be hard skills, soft skills, that now you could transfer to whatever it is you do. So, yeah, of course, it's
Hmm.
never whatever journey you take. It's never the wrong journey. It's all going to lead you to the path that you desire. And you know, it just so happened to lead you back into what your dad was mentioning, you know, entrepreneurship
Yeah,
and starting something, you
yeah,
know. But yeah, no, you developed a lot of things along the way, which is awesome. And you know, one thing that I like that you mentioned is like you're still working full time, but you're also working on yourself part time
yeah.
on the side, right? And
Hmm.
one of the things I always tell people is, you know, 2020 did open up a lot of doors of opportunity. And you know, a lot of people took them and ran with it, and some people didn't. And that
Hmm.
both options are fine. But looks like you had the time and the space to really now think about, okay, how can I utilize my time? Because one thing about you is that you're always doing something. That's something that I've noticed about you. You're always doing something, and I'm glad that you know, again, you're a people person, right? You love to serve people, whether it be in your full time job or your part time job. Like everything you just mentioned, like that's a servant to people, and that's the best thing you could offer somebody. You know, it doesn't matter how good you are at photography. If somebody doesn't feel that you care about them, they might not rehire you. But you know, when
Mm,
somebody feels that you care, you know, that's when new opportunities open up, and that's the person you
yeah.
are. That's the person you are.
Hmm.
All right, brother. So I'm gonna allow people to drop some questions just because we're about to hit 8:30, and I want to respect your time. In the meantime, go ahead and tell them what pages to follow and where you're at currently, where you're willing to travel to do any new projects. Let them know.
Anywhere, anywhere. Like I think I got booked for a wedding in Sedona at the end of the year, so that's pretty ecstatic. I'm really excited about that one. Sedona is one of those beautiful places that people just like it just photographed amazingly. Um, so I'm excited about that one. In regards to pages, is Fins Photography, and then F dot and dot M Creations. Um, we do custom cutting boards, shirts, stickers, pretty much whatever. Whatever we can make, we
How
get.
humble you are, bro.
Yeah, nah, not even. Yeah.
All right, cool, bro. So, I mean, there's no question. So, I'm gonna ask you a question. How,
hmm
how impactful is it to be in business with your significant other?
What do you mean?
So, F&M Creations, right? You said you went into business with your wife.
hmm
You know, imagine you guys didn't go into that business together. What difference is
hmm
being together, working together, doing something together?
I mean, it's it's just cool because we get to spend, like my wife is my best friend, like as cheesy as that sounds. So anything that I'm able to put like a passion or something that I find entertaining and following the dopamine, and she's able to be there, it's double dopamine. And then just creating something that at the end, like somebody's gonna either be wearing or somebody's gonna have um, for a long time, like a cutting board or something like that. It's pretty awesome. Like it's a great feeling. So definitely,
I love that, bro. No,
yeah,
it's definitely a blessing.
it's fun.
Yeah, no, and I love that you have support, because that adds to, more fuel to the fire when it comes to wanting to get things done. And I'm glad you guys are doing
Yeah,
it together. And then again, guys, FYMZ Photography, you could drop down below, give him a follow, and his other page is F.N.M Creations,
it's a
right?
lot of dots. Yeah, we try to get it all like without the dots, but it was already taken
So
apparently. I
DM
don't know
us,
who
and then
has it.
I'll send you guys the page.
Yeah,
I'll be uploading this YouTube video shortly after, so subscribe, follow, and share it. Freddie, thank you
that's nerve wracking. No, thanks, man.
for your time,
Thanks for
brother.
having me.
Have a good night.
Yeah,
Thank
of
you,
course.
everybody.
Likewise. All right, bye.